Hey, what's up, everybody? Here comes the fake lasers. Choo 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 choo. The common sense perspective is here for another episode. I just want to talk about topical matters here, right? Topical stuff that's been going on, right? So the biggest thing right now, a couple of things. Kamala has been anointed as the nominee for Democrats, and the biggest thing also that made the headlines yesterday was Secret Service director resigning, right? Which is, let's see if they show that. I'm just trying to keep it the main headlines here without really tapping into anything. If I don't have to, I try not to, but let me see here if they show who the director is, but maybe they won't. Everything's all Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. It's like shit. And by the way, that's a topical matter because they keep saying she's the first black this, she's the first black that, and it's true, right? Everything they're saying here, she's not black, and it's true, she is not black. She may look black, but she's not black. She's actually mixed Jamaican and Indian. Not even mixed, not even half black. So you can't say that she's black. I just think that when it comes to Democrats and all that, they look at her and she looks black, so they just say, "Oh, she's black." She represents the blacks and all that. When you talk to a lot of people, though, a lot of people say that she doesn't really do anything for the black community, so that's a whole nother matter. Um, but yeah, so that's one of the big things that is a big discussion about right now is how she's not black, which is true. She's not. If you look at her racially and biologically, she's not black, even though she may look like it. You know, but and then of course there's all this talk about how she slept her way to the top and things like that, which is not a hidden, not a lie. It's not hidden information. It's all out there. That it's no secret that she kind of just hasn't really earned her way to the top. She kind of just met people and kind of slept her way to the top. Primarily, when you look at who she began her sleep time with, right, which is with Willie Brown, San Francisco mayor, right? So San Francisco mayor took her under his wing, being that she was 30 years old at the time, and then all of a sudden, she rose in the politics of San Francisco before, you know, doing stuff in San Francisco and different political offices and everything like that before heading to the state. And you build your career up, all the way up to the state side, right? And of course, I've already explained all that a couple episodes back. That she built up her time and reputation just from that very early beginning in San Francisco. So again, it's no secret that she slept her way in, and it was said that she had an affair, right? I mean, that's not, again, it's not made up information. It's information that's all out there, right? That Willie Brown had an affair with her. Um, so has she earned her way to the top? No. And then if you look at all the policies and everything like it, it's been bad, 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 bad policies. Like it's very progressive, kind of like in the likes of Biden. And so if you want 4 years of the same sort of stuff to continue, maybe worse, then yeah, go ahead, vote for Kamala, right? Um, it's funny stuff though, and not everybody's on board with Kamala. The thing about her is that they have anointed her as such, but not everybody's on board with that in terms of their own party people, which is funny. And then you have dudes like Gavin Newsom here that's kept quiet. Of course, he voices support, for everything they do because he's a soldier, right, in that sense. But at the same time, he's kind of waiting in the bushes right now, in the buckle brush, right? Uh, at the same time, the Democrats are waiting to see what's going to happen with her. Like they're gonna have her on a test run, and they're gonna put her on a test run, and they're gonna see, you know, if she really has any standing at all versus Trump and versus Biden's support numbers, right? And if those numbers don't outdo Biden and fall below Biden, you're not gonna tell me they're gonna really push her out in favor of this guy here, Newsom, which he's garbage. He's straight garbage. Everywhere he's gone, never really earned it because he's kind of had a support side with Nancy Pelosi, who is a big time heavy hitter in California Democratic politics, right? The same Pelosi that when she tried to shake Donald Trump's hand and Trump ignored her and on national TV and she looked stupid. That was the funniest thing to see. It was so funny. You laugh at that shit like that. And Pelosi is, man, she is. Well, how do I describe it? She is vindictive. There you go. She is vindictive, all right, and cunning. Um, and that's why, for example, Biden's out because she has heavy, heavy influence in Democrat politics, and so with that, a lot of them fall in line because she can make and break Democrats' careers and all that. So they kind of just fall in line because they're scared of her. Unless you're like uh, a surrogate, such as Gavin Newsom, then uh, I think Gavin's going to be the one. Like, if he's smart, he would just wait till 2028. But he'll get trounced. Anybody that's going against Trump is going to get trounced. It's just the way it is right now. Because everybody's tired of being tired, right? Everybody's tired of the open borders. Everybody's tired of the drugs that are coming in, right? Everybody's tired of inflation. Everybody's tired that they make it sound like there's a lot of jobs and all that, but there's not, right? Everybody's tired of in connection with inflation, high home prices, right? Everybody's just tired of being forced to do things, right? Same thing going on in California. Everybody's being forced to do things, and it just rubs everybody the wrong way. But because they continue to vote for blue, you're going to have guys like Gavin still be in place because you guys are stupid and don't realize that they're forcing us to do everything and that everything they're doing is so bad on us. We're paying more for everything, but yet you still vote for those people that making us pay more for everything. You guys are a bunch of morons. Yeah, this recent headline here with Elon, because Gavin passed, I guess a new, I don't know, we're going to call it legislation to where schools don't have to report their own kids on their identity. If they decide they don't want to change, they don't have to report it to the parents. It's like a secret, you could just keep it as a secret. And it's like, you're taking the parents' rights away from taking their care of their own kids, right? In California. So Elon said, I had enough. I had enough of this shit. I had enough of everything else that Gavin's been doing to the state, right? You're making all the businesses pay, ridiculous amount of money when it comes to all kinds of stuff, when it comes to cost, just everything, right? Like business in California, to run a business is bad. You're paying so much money that it's like, what's the point of running a business in California because you're paying so much just to run a business that's going to be hard to maintain the business because you're worrying about paying for the exorbitant amount of fees and all these things you got to pay for, and the cost of just everything in general. So it's just like, it just sucks to have a business in California. It's not business friendly, and that's why a lot of businesses moved out. And that's part of the factor as to why he moved out too. Not only because, it's not only because, oh, he passed this thing on the transgender, kids can, the schools don't have to report to their parents thing. It's more than that. It's everything about what you gotta pay for. The cost of doing business in California is just so bad, so high. So that's why he pulled all his companies out. He pulled as an Elon, he pulled out Tesla, X, and then his last sort of piece of company out here, like main official business, is the SpaceX, right? X is Twitter, and then SpaceX is the space program. And so, there's also being said, oh, well, you didn't really move. You only moved, you did a fake move. And it's like, well, he moved his offices out. Of course, he's going to have production still, facilities out here, but main facilities he moved out of state to Texas. So I don't know what the argument is or what that part was about, but Democrats were saying, oh, well, he didn't really move. It's like, yeah, he did. All right, so just because you have a couple of outlier offices here in California still doesn't mean you didn't move. If he moved his official headquarters out of state, I don't know. It's just stupid. There's just stupid shit in California going on. And so Elon had enough, and I get it because all these businesses that moved out of state had enough. And I just wonder, when it comes to how California is and all the loss of businesses, all the loss of people that keep leaving, but you bring in all the imports coming in, right, legally across the border, like, how's that going to really help us? Because if they're not paying nothing and we're still continuing to pay for them, how's that really going to help California at all, budget-wise, right? And so, I don't know. It just, shit doesn't make sense, right? And you could tell that guys like Gavin and anybody else that is with the agenda, the deep blue state is what they say, right? Pushing the green policies, making everybody buy electric cars by a certain year, and all this other bullshit. I was down in Long Beach, right, 2 weeks ago, when I went on my vacation. I went on a cruise, right? And I was parked in the parking garage. I had to wait for a little bit before I boarded. So I was sitting in my car, but as I was looking in the park, I sat in my car, staring out into the roads there, and it's by the port of I don't know what the port is, but all the trucks go there. They do export and importing shipments onto ships, cargo onto ships, and trucks are just lined up, right? I'm just like thinking they're going to push all these trucks to try to convert to electric battery operation by a certain year. How are they going to do that, right? How are they going to push all these, when you look at it, tractor trailers, right? Tractor trailer big rigs to battery, and think about that. It doesn't make sense. It's not efficient. You're gonna run out of power pulling a load, and then you got to charge it for 7 hours or whatever, and then do it all over again. Keep driving a heavy load, pull over again, charge because you drained the battery. It doesn't make sense. And so all this stuff that's been going on, that they're trying to push for green energy, green policies, and all that, but yet you take down all the windmills and stuff, right? And it's like, I thought you said you support wind power, but you cut down all the windmills, right? And shit like that, right? A lot of stuff doesn't make sense. But yeah, so besides the point, yeah, so she's not black. Right? Even though, oh, she's black, she's the first black vice president. How about maybe vice president of color, right? Has there been any other female vice president of color? No. So you could say that. There was the first official black president, right? Obama. So that makes sense. But to say that she's the first black female, no, doesn't make sense. But yeah, so the controversy now is that she just got anointed, even though she never got one primary vote um, that was, voted on. They just gave her the spot, which doesn't make sense because then the argument is, well, for being Democrats, they're not very democratic about everything, right? They gang up together, they forced Biden out and anointed her without even really going through a primary. So things like that, right? Doesn't things don't make sense. They're not for being Democrat. They're not very democratic, right? For Democrats, um, and you can always argue about everything that is so wrong about the Republicans and the right, but what have they gotten wrong? Tell me, they haven't really gotten a lot of things wrong, and if they did, then tell me what it is. But I really have not seen that. Um, I mean, you see things now. For example, BLM is rejecting Kamala, which is true because they know she's not black, right? But yeah, going back to the other point, um, is that the Secret Service director here. So FBI's question that's going on today because they're trying to get to the bottom of the information on. Oh, here it is. There it goes. Kamala with that's Willie Brown, the mayor. She rose politically because of Willie Brown. That's no secret. It's not like oh, people are making shit up. It's no secret, right? That 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 happened. And so, speaking of that, so here's the director there, that lady, Secret Service director, resigned, and I think she resigned under pressure because all the fallout of the shooting, obviously that almost killed Trump, and then not really you know giving information, kept deferring, and all that stuff. Like she's trying to keep it, something a secret or something. Like she's not really telling any sort of real information, and something's not quite right. And I think rather than try to just stand hard and tall, she just decided to resign because there's just too much pressure. And then that begs to question a lot of different things too, because the incident in itself, which is a rare occurrence, but when it happens, you should get fired. Straight up. It's a straight up fireable offense because someone of what was known as an ex-president almost got killed because of Secret Service security, um, you know, leaking. I guess you could say. What do you call that? Where they didn't do a good job in terms of protection, right? And just there's a lot of different deficiencies that happen, right? And biggest thing is, I mean, the cast that was given to Trump to protect him during that rally, right? They've shown, and there's footage. You could go look at the footage all day long about, all the different people that were with him, right? And I'm not trying to, like, cause or whatever, but you have females there that didn't know what they were doing, and things like that, right? But yet, when she's walking up to the courthouse, she's protected by big, tall Secret Service men, right? Which is like, well, why don't you use those same females then if you are really supportive of the female movement and all that stuff, right? Because, they talk about in law enforcement about this whole 30% by 2030 agenda, the 30-30 agenda. They want 30% of the workforce in law enforcement to be 30% of it as women by 2030, right? And so, it's just it, and you have to lower standards to make that happen. I mean, I hate to say it because they would have to lower the standards because females are. I'm not saying all females, but there's a lot of them that are not right there with males. I mean, That's why, there's a controversy of the whole transgender men that claim to be women. They're obviously more, you know, uh, what do you call it? They got more manly stuff in their body as a transgender, claiming to be female. And then when they try to go into different sports, then you see how they have an advantage. That's this testosterone advantage, right? And it's wrong. It's wrong. That's why I'm against transgender in female sports. But again, that's a whole different story. So, Secret Service resigns to me under heavy, heavy pressure without really answering anything except acknowledging that they were deficient. She should have been fired literally the same day, next day, the latest after the incident happened. But for her to still be around nearly, was it like 2 weeks later? It doesn't go right. And, you could always blame it on the soft on crime policies, soft on everything policies that we're currently in right now in America. Because, when you look at the overall environment and picture, the big picture of things, you have illegal immigrants that committed major crimes, right? Murder, but yet, you know, yeah, they're just being held and whatever, blah blah blah, right? You look at all the things that are going on in crime, catch and release. Oh, let's write him a ticket. Here you go. Bye. Doesn't go right, right? I mean, for example, with store theft, I mean, usually if you steal something, you get in trouble, you get locked up, right? I mean, it's common sense. It's common sense for these things. And for it to not be like that, and just catch and release, and all these stupid policies that are happening, yeah, everything's soft, right? Oh, you know why they didn't fire the Secret Service director? Because she's a female, and she's a DEI hire because she's female. She fits the DEI criteria of she's a female, right? Oh, the first, female director of the Secret Service. Oh my gosh, right? And so they don't want to fire her because she's a female, right? Same thing with Kamala. Everybody knows, no secret that she's not really, you know, there's not a lot in the brain, right? And so that's why you have what you have with her. So the argument is right now is that she's a DEI hire, and Joe Biden actually admitted that she's a DEI hire. All right, and that's the problem with things that are going on these days. Like, why does everything have to be DEI? It's like they're trying to act like that's some sort of untapped potential when a lot of DEI in general are not really qualified to do anything, noteworthy. But they're given these positions and they're given these opportunities that a qualified person could fit doing, but they're being bypassed in favor of quote unquote diversity, equity, and inclusion, right? It's like when it comes to sports and kids are playing sports, everybody has to win a trophy even though you're in last place because it makes you feel good. It's like, get the fuck out of here with that shit. All right, so shit like that. And so, yeah, it's just right now the overall environment is not good, right? And so should have been fired, but now finally got pushed to resign, and that's a good thing. At least she's out, right? Because there's no way she could be still having a job after what happened. Like, and any if it was a white male, Secret Service director, fired. They would have fired him instantly, right? Republican president, fired. Right? They would have fired because it's common sense that you can't have that deficiency to just let that happen and be like, okay, I'll just go back to work like normal. No, I mean, you got to dig into the deficiency of what happened. And if it was said that Trump actually asked for extra security detail, extra manpower, and he was denied. That's bad. All right, that's real bad. But then you give him a weak crew of people. That's bad in itself. Like they've really tried so hard in every which way possible to like push down Trump, and he still has not cratered to the resistance. He still has been fighting hard and maintaining uh, his stance, which is crazy to believe. But yeah, so that's just my whole point in this topic for today. That it's just that one, she's not black. Two, she didn't earn her way to get to where she's at. She's given the nominee for Democrat, and it's stupid because at this point they've already screwed up everybody and everything, because they had a primary they could have done, but they stacked the deck and told the Democrats, stand down, Joe's our nominee. Because who else can beat Trump if no one else has beaten Trump before except for Joe. So we're stacking the deck. Joe's going to be the one in. Plus we have these 4 cases against Trump. He's going to be locked up anyways. Joe will still do our work, right? And then none of that has happened. Every strategy that they've done has not happened, and now this is where they stand, right? They're trying to push for her to be the next big deal, and she's not. And people are going to start seeing in time how bad that she really is not that great of a person, So we'll see what happens. All right, but good thing she's out. Biden's out. We'll see what happens with Harris because now all the skeletons are going to start coming out soon, especially this. It's going to become a bigger topic of matter here. And the whole discussion of, are they going to do another primary or some sort of convention to where they're going to really decide on who's going to be the next person, whoever the next loser is going to be, because it's still going to lose regardless. And that's where it's going to be. And also this whole thing with the stuff going on in Israel, Ukraine, man, that's just a big mess as well. So everything's a big mess right now that Joe has started. Open borders, everything, and it's like, it just sucks, all right? And we got to get back on track, all right? Now, I've been nonpartisan, all right? I'm trying to present to you the facts. But when you look at what's gone on in the past with Trump versus what's going on now with Joe, I mean, it's obvious which times have been better, right? And why they're really this whole, like rant and all this stuff about everything is Trump is bad, Trump is bad. But you got to really look at it and be like, is he really that bad, or are they just saying that, right? And I have a similar story I tell in my crypto channel of the very same thing, believe it or not. That's on my crypto channel. I won't explain it here because I want to keep that separate from this one. But yeah, so that's the latest I just wanted to bring about. I do want to bring about my inspiration on the political side of things, and just keeping an open mind, right? I do like Nate the Lawyer. I do like Dr. Phil. I do like Black Conservative, right? I'm a fan of Metal Leo, right? I do listen to all different points of views in news. So I do listen to Fox News. I do listen to CNN News, right? News for Unreasonable People. Sean there, right? I listen to a guy in New York, also, right, named Sean. The Young Turks, right? I listen to a wide variety of news sources on different parts of the country. Actual Justice Warrior, California Insider. I do listen to Sky News. Sky News, Matt Walsh, right? So I listen to a lot of different people. All right. Carl DeMaio, listen to him. So I do take in a lot of information, and I I try to make sense of everything, and when you look at how everything is, how can progressive agenda really do anything? How has that benefited us? Just ask yourself. Put aside the racial stuff, right? Um, what has progressive policies done for us overall? All right, tell me the benefit of it. All right, because places don't have money, sky high prices, paying more taxes, open borders, crime is up. We got wars in other parts of the world that are not being stopped, or could end easily. We're not tapping into our resources that we could tap into. When you look at everything across the board, what has progressive policies done? Just asking. So that's where I stand right now. But yeah, the biggest thing, like I said, is these two: the Secret Service director resigning, and then her being just appointed a nominee. So let me know what your thinking is on this. Your thoughts, as I still try to gather myself on working on this new channel I'm doing. And yeah, let me know what's up. All right, shoot me a comment, subscribe, and when I see things, I just want to give my insight on things from my common sense perspective, right? Because a lot of things, common sense, for example, ain't so common, right? So thanks, and I'll check in with you guys again, and I'll see you next one.